Good day, viewers. My name is Nasser. I'm the Nastv Africa, where we manifest Africa's greatness. Today, we have two big fishes inside our studio on personality spotlight and entrepreneurship for Africa youth. We're so lucky to have them, and by the time I introduce both of them, they are young people that have done so well for themselves, for the country, for their community, and they are still looking forward to do more than what they've done. And there's so much to learn from them. As we go on the personality spotlight today, we have in the studio Dr. Ebilade Joel Adesokon, that's the chairman into group. You're welcome.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. And by my left, we have that popular young man that has a name synonymous with murders, Wurandfadaka, in the person of Mr. TJ Suni, Omotoyosi TJ Suni, chairman Wurandfadaka.
Thank you for
You're welcome to our show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So let's cut the chase. It's a pleasure having you here. A lot of people have been hearing about Hinto Group. You're doing so much. I mean, in the area of tourism and education tourism and employment tourism and location tourism, everything for comfortability of Africans, not just Nigeria. So, can you tell us about yourself and what Hinto Group is all about?
Thank you so very much, Mr. Nas, for the opportunity and the privilege to be seated with you here.
You're welcome.
Africa is going to be very soon another world power.
Wow.
The spotlight is coming back to Africa. Before we get to that spotlight, there are some things, skills, knowledge that we need to acquire.
Okay.
If you don't have it, when that spotlight comes, we will not be able to harness all the potential that comes with it. So when we're talking about education tourism, employment tourism, the idea is that we can't continue the way we have been doing things.
Okay.
We need to go out there and see things that have worked, how it worked, bring the knowledge, and let us develop our Africa. So that when that spotlight comes, we'll have what it takes to harness it.
Wow.
So we have been able to do quite a lot in that space. And it was a journey of one block by another block by another block. Well, it will interest you that the whole journey started from home lesson. Where we go from one house to another in the city of Ilorin here in Kwara State.
Oh, this is the genesis of
home
lesson.
Home lesson.
Wow.
So we do that in parts, go from one place to another, all of that. Empowering young minds, reminding them that there's so much that they can do, and education should not be an hindrance to. So that transformed into giving them access to higher education.
Okay.
And that's where the education tourism comes in. So we have scholarships. I remember in this town, we do have scholarships, 100% scholarship. I know so many people in Kwara State that were able to get 100% scholarships for.
Abroad,
quite a number of them. So they are there, they are learning, they are building all of those things. So we are now back home to say that when these boys are fully equipped, they must see home as a place they should come, and they'll be able to see where to add those values.
All right. So okay.
I'm
feeling that. So this is quite different from Japa. All right. How?
It's different because the word Japa is not the right word for the kind of tourism that we are involved in.
Very good.
The number one thing I said is that Africa will soon come back to be the world power. So when you say Japa, it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be brain drain. That's not supposed to be the original idea. The original idea is meant to be that we go, we learn, we understand, we see, we practicalize. Then we come on and teach those here that no, if you want to do it to get results, this is how to do it. That is the major focus that we have. So the Japa is a phrase out of hopelessness. And Africa is not hopeless.
Africa is not hopeless.
Africa is not hopeless.
All right.
Africa is not
Thank you
hopeless.
very much. Africa is not hopeless. All right then. Let me quickly come to Mr. Tijisune Wurandfadaka. It's a popular name that's synonymous with fashion and fashion industry. And a lot of people keep saying, that young guy, how come he's doing so much and that he does stuff like that? And it's not tailoring. I say no. If we like bring you here, you'll be able to tell them what makes you different. How did you start? How did you catch your vision? And what is it to learn about what you're doing?
Thank you for the privilege, Moment, and it's a great honor to be talking alongside Dr. Joel. I'm still a very young boy. I'm just 30 for crying out loud. So, and taking inference from what he said, because Wurandfadaka we had our 10th year anniversary last month, November. So it
means you started from age of 20.
Yes, exactly. Wow. So I started while we were in the university, and people only started knowing us recently. Like, people knew us, but students definitely. And that time, the money you make is just to survive, to pay bills for schools and all that. But to make a living, for me to forget my certificates and say, okay, I'm going to use this to feed my family, is drawing points from what Dr. Joel said, that I left the country also about 5 years ago, 2019 precisely, to go further my studies, not to run away.
That's cool.
So now, while I was there, I was doing fashion before, selling like every other person, just like every other person is having a fashion brand I had. But getting the exposure, my mind got expanded. I saw that we've been underdoing things because we can't do more than we see or we know.
Okay.
So that exposure opened for example, my house is not far from Zara. It's not far from Nike. So I will go there, see how they do things, see how they package, see what they say. Why are people buying these people's brand? So that exposure opened my eyes to the fact that I can do the same thing back here in Africa, where we have even more buying audience. Because Africans like to look good, actually.
Very well.
So I was like, okay, how can I merge this? So the education I had after everything, I relocated back 2 years ago with my wife. I got married and all of that. I was already doing well there. We already had a good job and all of that. But because I know I could do what he said was very right. I've stayed in Europe, and I can categorically tell you that there are more advantages here in Africa than in Europe. Actually, to make a good living, it's easy for you to make it here than even over there. So me coming back, I came back with the exposure. So boom, when I started doing things, people were saying, it's different. So what is different basically is, yes, the grace of God, I must acknowledge that, but also the exposure. So while you are trying to do your own like this, because of your limited sight, I've expanded mine, so I know what to do better to make. And you are looking up to a typical white man, so I know what you are looking up to, so I bring that same to. So I learned that people don't just buy things anymore; people buy value.
Yes.
So what makes me stand out of so many other fashion designers is the fact that I stopped selling clothes. I started selling speed.
Okay.
I was like, okay, since the problem in Africa is that they will disappoint you, okay, let me come and solve that problem. So I started building a system towards that. And that was what made us just stand out amongst our colleagues here in Nigeria.
I think I like that phrase. It's called the fancy. Like, you are no more selling clothes, you are selling speed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like the Nike we sell class.
Yes, sir.
We are not selling shoes.
Yes,
that's a very good one. Now, Dr. Joel, what is it that can you tell us more about the process it involved, so that people that do not intend to japa, that want to go do well, capture whatever that's capturable, then come back to the country and they make this world better? How does the process work?
No, thank you so very much. As I said earlier, we don't encourage Japa.
Okay.
What we encourage is exposure, the right thinking. Look at what he said. When he's able to see it, his mind could contain it.
Yeah.
So, for anyone that wants to go and see those exposures in countries that are more than 2,000 years old, they've been through this stage. They've learned, they've unveiled, they've done a lot of things before they can now become attractive to us. The process is simple. Anybody can handle those applications themselves. I say it every time and everywhere I have the opportunity.
Okay.
Visas, travels, they are not complications that someone cannot do by themselves. It's just common for typical Nigerians that they just want to pay for everything. Say, no, I can't wrap my head around it. But to travel is very easy. If you drop a common hello to the email of any university in the world, they will reply you.
That's it.
What are you looking at? You got a mail? What are you looking at? Oh, I want to enter school. What do you need? Do as passport, do all of those things. But if you now need guidance, we can provide it.
Okay.
But we
make it
don't,
easy.
Yes, but we don't issue visas. We don't issue work permits. We don't give jobs. We don't do human trafficking. We don't do all of those things. What we only do is that we render visa support services.
Okay.
What are you looking at? You want to go to study? Just get your valid passport, get a transcript from your institutions, get a reference letter either from employers, either from employers or wherever you have added value to them. Let them just write a reference letter about you. If you are thinking about the G5, those are the US, Canada, Australia, United Kingdom, and maybe US, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and all of those top 5 countries, you're likely going to need to write IELTS. It's an English test, also test speaking skill and all of that, but it's not all of them that do require it. So these are the 4 basic things that you need. So when you have all of those ones, you reach out to the school, they will grant admission. It's very easy. Then when they give you the admission, if you go to the embassy of any website in the world, you will see a checklist of what you need to submit. It's just that we don't just like to do the extra work. And it saddens my heart when I hear that somebody collected somebody's money and disappeared. I was like, wait, what did you
what did you pay him for?
What did you pay them for? So if they go on those websites, the checklists are there. But as an organization which is into migration, one of our subsidiaries, they can guide, they can provide all the professional services for them.
Yeah, that takes me to the next question.
Yes.
When you say one of our subsidiaries.
Yes, please.
And I think that we have vibrant 6 companies that are running. And they're interlinked. Can you briefly talk to us about that? Because we want the youth out there, Nigerians, to believe that things are still possible in this country. You took your mind to the level of entrepreneurship that you can create value. And then from house lesson, you migrated into group. That's a migration. Then you have other companies. Can you tell us briefly about it and what's it that we tend to learn from it?
Yeah, okay. So about 2 weeks ago, I was nominated as the Sustainable Business Award of the Year.
Okay.
And it's before about 20 million audience. And then they were nominated and then they gave us the award.
Oh, wow.
And when they were telling us the criteria, they made us discover that they are looking out for entrepreneurs that they are diversified enough to handle all the uncertainties around the economy. A lot of entrepreneurs now get stuck with one thing that they're doing because of the reality of the economy. And it's now making people that knows how to do stuff, they now look as they don't know how to do it again. So the idea is that we are developing value chains around what we do. Because that's what can sustain us as a business. So I told you that aside from
backward integration.
Backward integration. We need to look around how can craft out value around what we do so that to sustain whatever it is that is the core of what we do. So I told you that we started the home lesson. So after a while, we moved it to post-secondary education where A lot of people will train them, will look at their certificates, their results, the course they want to go to in the university, and then we advise them, we counsel them so that they can have an higher chances in getting the admission. So year in, year out, we're having almost a backlog of 1.2 million, 1.3 million coming all over and all over again. What's the future of that? I was told when I got to town now that University of London is merging last year admission with this year admission, and then they take about few percentage of them. So what happens to that boy that has 270 and wants to read computer science? Has he not tried? Has he not done well? What is his fault? So we had a small session where we trained them, we encouraged them, we advised them to choose the right course. That brought us to Into University. So from Into Tutor to Into University. So from Into University, we move on to Into Migration. Because at that point of Into University, we start getting noticed by foreign universities who now reach out to us that these students, if there's any one of them that can afford to study abroad, we should make recommendations. We make recommendations to give them scholarship, 100%, 50% scholarship. Yeah. So from there, we moved on to the Into Migration, where we seek opportunities for people abroad to go and learn, to develop, and come back to Africa to develop. So from there, we also have Into Realtors Limited. We're going to real estate, the city of Abuja.
So that people that have traveled, they come back and find a place to stay.
We do. Everything is centered and crafted around Africa. If you're doing well for yourself, you are earning pounds in there, don't spend those pounds in there. Bring them home, get investment, and develop your home.
That's the spirit. Thank you very much. Wow. Now, Wurandfadaka, please, how did the name come from? I mean, Wurandfadaka. Does it have to do with your mom?
Yes, actually. It had to do with my mom was because I can't sew basically. I've never even tried to sew before. I can't even cut. So
wow, so just an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'm just a business, exactly, sir. So my mom happened to be the person that had the skill. So while I was in school, I remember back in the university, I attended a seminar, conference, and they invited, I think, Jafet Omojua. So he came and he made a statement that, stuck with me for a long time. He said, everything you need to, because I wasn't really that, financially stable then, of course, 100 level student. So he said, everything we need to our next level is around us. That God is not wicked. He said, the problem is that we think we will see them in their finished form. He said, most of them are in their raw form. You are the one that will find it. Your job is to refine it, then use it for yourself. So I started looking around. What do I have? What do I think I have? What skill do I? So I discovered that I was creative. I could sell things. I could convince people easily about things. Then I saw that my mom was a tailor. She had a machine in her house, the living room, and she's very good at what she does. Then I started looking at, okay, how can I use this? So while I think the point of breakthrough is the point of brainstorming. That's what many youth run away. They want this very, they just want this microwave kind of fast.
No delay gratification.
No. So, I started thinking, ruminating, okay, how can I bring this? He's in Abeokuta. I'm studying the University of London. How can I merge it? How can I bring it? How can I cut that distance? How can I make it possible? Because it's enough for me to just say, oh, don't think to that direction. So I started brainstorming, okay, what do they need this in the university community? Fashion. So I saw that they were selling lab coats then. I was walking through and I saw lab coats. Then I saw that they were selling, I asked them what you were saying. They said 1,000 naira or so. So as a creative person, I said, I can sell mine for 950. Probably put a pen in the pocket to just make it more attractive and compete with this person. So while I was thinking, I called my mom, could she make it? She said, yes, she can make it. I sent the picture, she can. Then I think, while she was doing it, and I started thinking again, but is this sustainable? Will I just be selling lab coat? But how can I even get my first target audience? I don't have the capital, I don't have anything, so I can't just make lab coat and be selling. Then the idea came again that, okay, they were doing elections that time in school. Then I was able to walk up to someone contesting for, I think, life science or so, Faculty of Life Science, for the vice president. And I gave her an idea that she could put it in her manifesto to tell people that during her own tenure, they would give freshers free lab coats and all of that. So she did it and she won the election. That was my first contract. Wow. So for the university. So from there, I got to church. My church also, the ladies needed skirts. There was no skirts. They came with trousers and the church told them not to wear. trousers. I called my mom. She said she could sew skirts. I looked for a lady to measure them. So I was looking for problems that is fashion related, and I'm trying to just solve it. So from there, I saw that people wanted to wear kaftans and whatever, but they are students. They don't have time to go to the market to buy fabrics, to go to tailor. So I started doing it for them. I'll go and buy the fabrics for. That's how we'll go buy the fabrics for you. We'll take to tailor. We'll measure you. We were just selling ease then. I don't know. You are a student. We'll come and deliver to your doorstep. And I was merging that with my academics. So from there, other departments will see the designs I made with Afro, like Ankara, whatever. They will say, "Can you make for our final year, brethren? Can you make for our final year?" So I made for almost all the final year. While I was in school, I made a lot of millions as a student while I was in school. So as I got out of school, I said, I can't leave this behind. I had to further because I studied creativity and business. No, sorry. That was what I did abroad. What's the name of the course again? Comparative religions. You can imagine. So you can imagine comparative religion is enough for you to just know that there's nothing for you in Nigeria. So I didn't see that around that. I just had to. So now I'm not using it. I had to further to study creativity and business innovation in Estonia. And it was an amazing experience. I knew much about business, about startups, because Estonia is like the startup hub of Europe. That's where Bolt is and all of that. In fact, I encourage people that you want to go, and the school fees is not much and you learn a lot there and you can survive because you can get your job from 100 level. You can get a job that can sustain you and pay your school fees. So I did that, and from there, came back to Nigeria. So that's basically, so the name came from my mom wanted to, so while you were making the lab coat and making the skirt, the work was too much for the house. So we wanted to get a job. So she wanted to get the name. So he named it Silver Gold. So I have I have twin younger ones. They are twins. Wurandfadaka, that's their name.
Okay.
Yes. They are even, one is in University of London, one is in Kwasu currently. So she wanted to now name it, because that time, why would you name a company Wurandfadaka? So we wanted to make it to Silver Gold. So in fact, we printed everything, all the banner, the tags. By the time we went to CAC, that someone is using the name. So let's go change it to Wurandfadaka straight. So it's not anything spectacular. It just came, and the idea that came with me is that it's not always about the name. Coca-Cola does not make sense. If you say it 10 times, you discover that it doesn't make sense. But the content, so it's the content of the brand that makes the name. Exactly, sir. So from there, that's how we took off, sir.
This is a very good one. I think the youth out there, they are listening very well and they are learning from all of you. I think there's something to take away, that Africa will still be great once you have solution for any problem that you can take. So finally, I want you to blend the two. What advice do you have for the government, and what advice do you have for the youth out there?
Thank you. For the government, I will say that the word hope should be taken seriously. For someone who have the belief in the future of this country. But every day that come and go is looking hope. It's not looking like lies. It's very hard to convince a frustrated person. Government should endeavor to do everything possible to ensure that the hope of a common man, of young people, is continually reassured while they are trying to fix the economy. Because if they are done fixing it and all the future leaders are no longer here, we're still going to go back to square one. For the young people out there who are working very hard, who still believe in the future of this country, I want to say to them that they should look beyond the darkness that is hovering around us now and take it upon themselves to believe that their future is in their hands. They should look around. He quoted Omojua that he is around us. They should not believe that it's one government that will do it for us, or it's one uncle somewhere that will do it for us. They also need to look around them and create value. When they create value, they create solutions. You can listen to what Wurandfadaka said. A lot of
problem.
there is just solve problem. Just solve problem. Most of them come that they need money, and I tell them, I won't give you money. Bring value, then you have access to my pocket. It's very simple.
Very simple.
So, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's about what I picked from what you just said. It's about the hope is an actionable word. It's not a blind optimism. It's not something that you just sit down and hope things will be better one day. You have to work towards it, despite all evidence to the contrary. Thank you very much. Now, what advice do you have for the government and for our youth out there?
I think Doctor said the most important part of it, because we are in a world, we are in a country where, for someone that relocated back to Nigeria, I had to put a blind eye towards seeing dollars increase like that. I know I spent the dollar, I spent euros before, and all of a sudden I'm back here spending naira. So and I just I don't watch the news. I don't, because I don't want to believe, and until I see you put things into action, until I see you empower youth in the place of entrepreneurship, and not for record or data sake. Something functional that that yes, we are building these people, and this is what we are building. There's a game plan. So I just feel it's more of this political jamboree where everybody just wants to do it so that they can say under your tenure you trained 5,000 people that have no job eventually. So I want them to be serious. It's not rocket science, to be sincere. Even if it's 100 people, start from 100, start from 1,000. You have this capacity, because everybody leaving the country, you are losing your strength. The youth are the strength of a nation. You are losing them. And if you go abroad now, all the scholars abroad, all the first class students, most of them are Nigerians.
Yes, yeah.
And they are doing well. Actually, doctors in America or whatever, they are Nigerians. And so, I know I have a lot of doctors as friends. I can tell you that 98% of them are leaving the country by this month. All of them, they're just telling you, they can't stay here. They don't appreciate what they are bringing and all of that. I was like, until you lose them, So that's my advice. Like, let's do something reasonable. Something tangible that we can see that and build and say, okay, this is. And for the youth, I'll just keep saying, like Doctor said already, there are problems. In fact, that Nigeria is in this kind of, I don't want to say catastrophic situation, is giving room for more opportunities, actually. So we need to look into, because there is money. Yesterday alone, as I was walking through the streets of London, 3 times, I saw 3 different G-Wagons in the city. And I was like, and you tell me that there is no money, like there's no plate number. Obviously, somebody just brought it to the city.
Clubs are only freedom.
And you say there's no money. I'm seeing a lot of cars that I saw with no plate number between last week, and it means people are buying cars at the end, even though cars are doubled price. So it means there is money. Yeah. We just need to give solution. We need to look for. We should not be idle, and we should not say what people don't need. That's the problem. I noticed that most of my people, my youth, don't know. They sell what they have passion for. They don't know how passion is secondary. Yes. Survival is primary. So you first passionately solve their problem. Once you solve people's problem and they see that you are like a savior, they come for your passion. So that's when they can now feed your pocket that, okay, I like this passion, even though they don't like it, but because you have done something good for them. So I want us to, if it is Gary they need in your vicinity, you don't need to go and open something else and in the name of competition, sell Gary and make it on a larger scale. Very well. So these are the things. Look, someone like I stood in the fashion industry and I said, okay, you know what, before, because I have other companies, by the way, but the fashion is like the most promising for me for now. And I'm just making sure that, okay, every day by January, the 31st of January 2025, in fact, I started raising investment for it. We want to start, because it's 24 hours we are doing. By the 31st of January, you will be able to get your outfit 1 hour, 55 minutes. We'll be the fastest in Africa. Wow. So that's what I'm just building towards. And I saw that money is coming towards it. So why will I be wasting my strength on something that money is not coming? So that's my advice. Let's give solution. Yes.
That's a very good one. I think I appreciate the 2 giants that we have inside Nastv Africa studio today. You have done very well, and I'm sure it's exhaustive. if we continue discussing this, it's going to take a long time because I'm very passionate about this. I think the takeaway from here now, the audience is that let's look for a problem that we can solve. And Nigeria is facing a lot of problems now. And I can tell you, and I keep telling young one each time I have opportunity to speak to them, that every day Chinese people, India people, they come to this country to look at our problem, they go back and solve it. That's why we have the chargeable lab, we have all this in front of me, we have all the gadgets in this world. Like they want to use a charger for 5 phones, they solve it. They want a rechargeable lab with radio. Can you see? So if our university, our youth, everybody can think of solving problem instead of money fly, instead of taking our money outside the country and invest in other country by building houses there that we don't need, then this Africa will be large. And I appreciate your coming, and I hope, and I'm very much sure that when I call you next time, you will answer us. So I appreciate you. That is where we call it a day, our viewers. And please kindly check the subscribe to Nastv Africa. Follow us on our social media handle and engage us. Let us hear what you think about our discussion so far. We appreciate you. My name is Nastv. I'm recording from Nastv Africa. And by my right is Dr. Joel, the chairman into group. And DJ Suni Omotoyosi, the Wurandfadaka of this world. Thank you very much for coming. So much. I appreciate you. Thank you and bye.